This is a fascinating survey. Here I'm showing you thermal images where purple is about 5 degrees cooler than orange. You'll see that the damp area where there's damage does not line up with where the cold is. You would normally expect condensation to form where there is cold, but in this case the condensation is forming higher up the wall and not specifically in the cold zones. One of the many downsides of using slurry is you reduce the absorption of vapor into walls. Therefore, you get less buffering and increased risk of condensation forming on walls, which is what's happening here.
Form of condensation that's caused by damp proofers, and it's this is slurry here, so this is impermeable render, if you like. So the plaster is removed, the original render is removed, and this is impermeable, so like plastic. And then this is the original plaster up here. And what happens is the original plaster absorbs moisture through normal vapor, and it gets trapped behind what is effectively the plastic. And so you get a build-up of water along the interface between the impermeable and permeable plaster, and then you get this cracking. And these are calcium sulfate salts, which is the key ingredient in cement and plaster. It used to be known as gypsum. Modern name for plaster is gypsum, or at least that's one of the names, and that's why you're getting it. It's a form of condensation, but it's caused by damp proofing treatment. Very unusual case where we have the main dampness on an internal wall, and it's believed to be above past damp proofing treatment. That's why you're seeing it high up, about 1.2 meters up. It actually slightly increases above the staircase. There's some interesting things here, which is probably something to do with the metal, but there are very, very small stains here and there, but by and large it's colourless, and the small stains probably rust. If we look, so there are other signs of damp and mould in this property. For example, behind the knives, and even though this is internalised, that will be a cold area out there. The kitchen extractor fan is not going out anywhere. The bathroom door doesn't close. And this extractor fan apparently is a continuous flow extractor fan with 2 speeds. There's a manual speed, which is about 10 litres a second, which is not particularly great. There's also the continuous speed is basically 0, and there's a half speed when it senses humidity but hasn't been switched on manually, and that is 7 litres a second, which is about half of what's required. You'll see there are a lot of signs of mould and dampness in this room, which is not surprising. Those are the key features. Quite a simple problem with a simple solution. I've spoken to the tenants about what I think they should do, which is cook with tops on pots and pans, and try and keep the flame down. Use a dehumidifier drying clothes, and use the vent manually with the door closed, but they're going to need help. And also the other thing is to monitor relative humidity and dew points with the data loggers. You can see there's a data logger, and also there are a lot of plants here, which is great, but every litre that's put into the plants will come back out as water, and I've explained that to the tenants. So they do need a dehumidifier.
This property has a humidistat extractor fan which senses humidity and switches on. The problem is it's very insensitive. We got to 86% relative humidity and it still hasn't come on. The background speed is almost nothing. It's slowly building up to about 5 litres a second, which is about a third of what it should be drawing air out at. This is using an anemometer. It's professional grade, costs about £700 with all the kit. Personally, I think you're better off using a £20 one, which is much easier and quicker and more portable. But anyway, the point of this is that these humidistats don't work very effectively.
So this is about 5 minutes after I was running the shower, and basically there's give or take nothing coming through here. These are definitely condensation dribble marks here. Whether it's candles or mould is difficult to be sure. I'd say probably more likely candles.
That is carbon coming from candles burning.